And Suffolk County Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison is committed to solving the Gilgo Beach serial killer, which has been haunting the area for more than a decade. Federal, state, local agencies, they are joining forces now to bring that killer to justice. And Commissioner Rodney Harrison joining me this morning to explain why this new task force could actually crack the case. Good to see you, Commissioner. Thanks for being here on the PIX11 Morning News.
Hey, Dan, good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
And congratulations. It's your first appearance since you've been commissioner right here live, so congratulations.
Yes, sir.
So let me talk about this, right? How many agencies are going to make up this new task force, and when will they actually begin?
Yeah, so Dan, if I could just real quickly talk about my time frame in NYPD was very important that we have partnerships. That's where we had success.
Yep.
So when I came as Suffolk County's new police commissioner, I took a look at the Gilgo case and wanted to make sure we had those partnerships out here as well. Mm-hmm. And I reached out to the FBI, I reached out to the state troopers, I reached out to the sheriffs to see if they could help us putting a task force together and see if we could, and I use this phrase quite often, put a broader net out there to see if we could expand and cultivate a potential witness that can help us out with the investigation, as well as we're working with the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office that's going to help us with the prosecution as well. You know,
people, Commissioner, have been fascinated by this case for almost a decade, right? Wasn't the FBI, though, originally involved in the investigation? So what happened there? Why did they actually stop? And are they back now involved with your new task force?
Yeah, so Dan, they were part of the investigation. Then, for whatever reason, they were removed or asked not to participate. Listen, whatever happened before, it's not going to happen in the future. I think it's important that we work with all of our partners in law enforcement to get the job done and identify the individuals involved and hold those people accountable.
You know, we have been laser focused on this specific case. Our Mary Murphy and James Ford have done some extensive reporting on it. And this task force is also going to have some new tools to help move the investigation along. But there's been a lot of talk about possible ties to law enforcement. What is the likelihood that the Gilgo Beach serial killer does have ties in some way to law enforcement?
Yeah, well, Dan, you know, it is an active investigation. I don't want to really get too much in regards to who our possible suspects are. But it's good that we have our all types of law enforcement partners involved that can really help us laser focus into what needs to be done to capture these individuals.
And you know, Commissioner, really what jump-started the whole case was missing the missing woman, which was Shannon Gilbert. And are we ever going to hear the 911 calls that Shannon Gilbert made the night that she disappeared? Or is that part of the investigation? Are you willing to release it?
Yeah, so when I first got into this position, I heard the Shannon Gilbert 911 calls. I didn't see any concerns regarding it being a hindrance to the investigation. I'm speaking to the investigators now just to confirm, are there any issues regarding, is it going to hurt any parts of the case? And if it doesn't, they are okay with it, I'm going to look to share with the public. I think that's very important to show transparency.
Transparency is key, and I'm really glad that you are laser focused on this case, as is, I think, so many people. So keep us posted on what happens with the task force. But I do want to, while we have you, talk about some other big cases right now, because Suffolk County, like many areas, as you know, coming from the NYPD, experiencing this increased gun violence and crime, right? The latest was this fatal home invasion in Coram yesterday. So first off, any leads in that case?
No, unfortunately, there's not. It's an unfortunate incident. It happened around 4:30 in the morning. It looks like it's a push and robbery regarding drugs. But we are going to need the public's help. If anybody has any information, use our Crime Stoppers hotline. Let me tell you something, Dan. Crime Stoppers in the NYPD help solve a lot of cases. I'm going to really push the Crime Stoppers assistance out here as well.
Good.
1-800-220-TIPS.
Great.
It's going to help out a lot of cases, including Gilgo and a host of other incidents that we're seeing out here in Suffolk County.
Got to get those numbers really ingrained in people's minds, right? Just like Crime Stoppers in New York, 220-TIPS, you said, right?
Sir.
Great. So, you know, what is your strategy, I guess, right now to bring down crime and get guns off the street, specifically in Suffolk County? There's a lot of talk about bail reform and how it may or may not play a factor in what we're seeing in terms of increased gun violence around. Do you think bail reform needs to be tweaked and needs to be looked at?
You know, bail reform is just one of the layers that we're all law enforcement in the state of New York are concerned about. But right now, one of the things that I've seen in New York City, as well as I'm seeing out here in Suffolk County, is gang violence. A lot of antagonizing going back on social media, This drill rap is turned into a major concern, and we got to try to find a way to really focus in our strategies towards these gangs and use precision policing to identify the most problematic individuals and get them off the streets. That's the only way it's going to make this county safer.
Yeah, drill rap. That's second time this week that we're hearing this term. You're seeing it in Suffolk County. Mayor Adams met with some of the members of the drill rap music genre. Do you plan on doing the same?
Listen, I didn't think about doing that myself, but maybe I'll identify some people from the community that'll be willing to go out there and talk to some of these individuals that are doing this type of drill rap. And once again, it's going back and forth, talking about violence. Somebody's got to talk to them in order to stop them from going forward with a lot of the nonsense that we're seeing, and that's turning into unfortunate gun violence.
And briefly, Commissioner, you're running the 12th largest police department in the country. Long Island police departments have a long and lengthy history, I'm sure you're aware, of discriminatory hiring practices which keep blacks and Latinos off of the force. So what, with you now at the helm, what is being done to really diversify the rank and file?
Yeah, Dan, one of the most important things is recruitment. I'm going to be working with a lot of the religious leaders out here, as well as a lot of the community-based organizations to push the recruitment to see if we get the men and women from the brown and black communities to at least file for the test. And then we'll take a closer look at the candidate assessment process and make sure it's fair and equitable for everybody that's going through the process.
Very good. Suffolk County Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison, you have three daughters. Two of them are with the NYPD. And from what I understand in my deep dive of my research here, you do have a birthday next week that hopefully they are participating and celebrating with. So, you come from New York. Is the place to get the cake in New York City, or is it in Suffolk County?
That's a very good question. I have to leave that up to my wife. She's also a retired lieutenant from the NYPD. And I'll let her choose the location where she gets the cake, but it definitely would be a nice day for my 53rd birthday.
There you go, 53. All right, 53 years young. Commissioner Rodney Harrison, thank you for being here and really laying everything out. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Enjoy your birthday. 8:40, everybody.
That was a smooth answer.
Smooth answer, very diplomatic,
Yes.